Today I want to spend a few minutes to talk about an overview of AI in search. There's been a lot of different technological changes over the last few years, and it has greatly influenced how people search and how people find information. And so I thought it would be great to kind of look at that and kind of start the discussion of how do we appear in these generative AI platforms. So looking at a bit of a timeline here, we have three major players, although let's argue it's two. We have OpenAI, who launched ChatGPT in November of 2022. A month after that, Google was like, okay, there's a flood of AI content. We are going to update our guidelines, and EAT becomes EEAT, including experience. A few months after that, OpenAI releases ChatGPT 4. ChatGPT 4 is a much more powerful model. It's able to do a lot more complicated work, creation of content. It's a lot better than the previous model. And Google responded in kind by launching their SGE beta. This was what is now known as AI Overview. It's a little top of the search results. We'll look at it in a moment, what that looks like. And so Google launched Bard. That was their response to ChatGPT. That was their AI model, and they said, hey, look, we're going to put it in search. And Bing partnered with OpenAI and launched Copilot, which is built with ChatGPT. By November of 2023, OpenAI releases custom GPTs. This really is a great tool if you're working with creating content. Definitely reach out to us if you're curious about how you can do this. And then this year, it has been very busy. So Google's Bard becomes Gemini. They love renaming things. In May, Google's SGE becomes AI Overview, and it launches in the US. It's launched in 6 more countries, and probably a lot more at this point, and it should be most by the end of the year. And then just in October, just 2 months ago, we had ChatGPT surpassing Bing in traffic, and ChatGPT with search launches. And so ChatGPT with search is probably the biggest change and the one thing that we are most concerned with. What this does is that ChatGPT is basically grounded with search. Previously, that model had a knowledge cutoff date. While it could maybe search and access some links, it wasn't actually having a deep searching capability. So with all of this, is search dead? Is organic dead? Should I not optimize for it anymore? I would argue no. 1 year ago, Google was still the largest traffic referrer. It will continue to be so. Microsoft and Bing at 7.2%, Google at 63%. If ChatGPT's traffic just surpassed Bing, it will be interesting to see when its referral traffic will pass Bing. And that's something that we'll look at in a little bit. So search is not dead, it's just diversifying. And that's exciting for us. It's exciting for different brands, creators, everyone. There is more diversity in how people are searching and where people are finding content and the types of content that they want. So just to show how the search landscape itself changed, on the left you'll see the standard SERP where we have the search results page, where we have the paid at the top, and we have SERP features, and then we have organic results below. Currently with AI Overview, we have a generative AI at the top, which then shoves everything even further down. And so we have a new problem with getting clicks to our site, and for people who are just getting, the answer to their query right in generative AI. Now, as people are learning how to use these models and interact with them, this is one way that they're learning. So through search, they're learning to use this generative AI system and how to engage with it, how to ask it more complex questions. And then when someone is using ChatGPT, they're taking those practices over. And so just to show a little bit of what it looks like when someone makes a query, if we're looking at PTO tracking software in Google, the AI Overview, it's going to give us a list. It's basically a listicle. And so Google has taken all the work for you and put it together. And these sources are the top 2 organic results in Google right here. And so we've already wrote a really great article about appearing in AI overview, which is greatly influenced by Google organic results with a slight nuance. Definitely check that out. And then you'll see here with ChatGPT, when we ask, can you recommend PTO tracking software? Then we also get a listicle. And so the top 3 recommended brands appeared in more than 3 citations from here. So we have citations, and then we have search results on the right-hand side. This is ChatGPT with search. It kind of looks like a search engine, because now it is. Basically, you cannot rank inside an LLM. You cannot rank an AI. It doesn't have a ranking system. It's not organic search. But what it is a predicting system. You give it an input, it gives you an output, predicting the best answer. So when people are writing about your brand and it appears again and again and again, and they're repeating the same things, it is confirming that for the system. And so it chooses this one because it's, well, that is the most recommended item. I'm also going to recommend it. These search results are also influenced by Bing. So ChatGPT, OpenAI, and Bing have a partnership, and so these go together, and Bing has the same principles as Google. So if you're optimizing for search, I always say you are optimizing for AI, with a few additional caveats. So another example, can you remote PTO tracking for remote teams? We actually got different responses here. None of the citations are list or blog post. So maybe you can't compete against someone like Bamboo HR for PTO tracking software, but you can capture it through answering specific problems. So your PTO tracking software for who? Remote teams? Okay. If someone is looking for that very specific use for their industry, knowing that there are so many different options out there, you can be found there. So as you are building that visibility towards your PTO tracking software, you can build it in these other areas first. So when we look at Perplexity, we have a very similar situation where we have sources, we have links here to things typical that you would find in search. So can you recommend PTO tracking software? Perplexity uses Google's search results, and basically if you search, can you recommend PTO tracking software, those are the results. So it took that and aggregated it. Brands listed are qualified with multiple sources. Once again, as before, the more times you appear in these listicles and these reviews at the top of like G2, Capterra, you're going to get pulled into these AI platforms. When we look at Copilot, can you recommend PTO tracking software? We once again have another list. The first 2 sources can be found on page 1 of search results for Bing for can you recommend PTO tracking software. And so while these platforms have their own training and have their own data and their information that they know, now that they're grounded with search, they're able to take all those search results and kind of aggregate it. And now, being reasonable, they cannot take all the search results. There's billions of results in some cases. So it's kind of taking the first couple pages and seeing where are they mentioned, who's mentioned the most, who's on every list, who's on the best list. Sometimes it messes it up, sometimes it gets it right, sometimes it gets it wrong. But general, this is what we're seeing over and over. Now, Claude is a bit of a funny one because this is not connected to the internet just yet. While it's a very great, strong generative AI platform, because it's not connected to the internet, it's only going to respond with information based on its training. And so the story of this is it's not enough for search engines to understand who you are. They need recommendations. You need branded mentions, you need people mentioning your brand, your products, and different sources. And this is going to help you increase the probability of a purchase. So as you're creating content, thinking about the content that lives on your site, I'm not saying that's not important, that's super important. You definitely need those pages on your site as well to help those sources qualify. They can say you're great, but if they go to your website and there's nothing there to help a user, then you've lost that potential lead. And so we want to make sure that we're creating content that aligns with our brand, aligns with our product, that we're mentioned in the right sources, that we're in the right listicles, and that, we're owning that conversation a bit around our brand, because our brand is being searched. And we want to connect all of our entities together. So, through using structured data, through making sure that there's alignment with your brand visibility, on Instagram, on LinkedIn, on G2, on Capterra, on the listicle Best X software. You don't want a listing your simple software for startups when you actually are going for more enterprise, large industries. So what they're saying goes against what you're saying, and then there's a clash of information. And in this case, some of the AI models may then not include you. So as we are on this new world of search, it's just a bit of a reminder that, the old school, the technical, the links, the content strategy, we do believe that this is expanded. So backlinks are no longer just backlinks. We have digital PR. We want your brand mentioned, talked about. Your technical infrastructure has to be there. And your brand has to align. So across your ads, across platforms, across the content that you see on LinkedIn, on YouTube, on your blog, we want an alignment with that. And that alignment is going to help these LLMs, these models, understand who you are, what is your purpose, what are you offering, and then qualifying that against other websites. And so if you're worried about tracking how you're appearing in LLMs, that is a bit difficult. We don't currently have visibility into what queries do I appear under, what am I ranking in ChatGPT, but we can track LLM performance through referral traffic. So if you use this regex filter for page refer in GA4, you can then filter to just see traffic referred to from AI platforms. We do have a dashboard which you can copy. We'll have the link in the description. If you just want to use it, it's free. You just click it and enter your data and you're good to go. And you can see how much traffic you've been getting from LLMs over the past year. There are some other articles here. Highly encourage you to take a look at them, talking about ranking in these systems, what's going on with search, and how is search changing. And so thank you so much, and I hope that this was helpful. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us or to me. My email is open. Thank you.